Good evening. For someone like me who's been traveling twice a month to all the corners of the world, probably the biggest challenge was to find myself now in my 10th week of confinement. The difficulty that I faced there was not so much to stay idle, because I wasn't. I've been working 3 times a day. My team and I are having a video conference. But what has been challenging is to try to figure out what actually our clients want. What is really relevant today, if anything. And of course the challenge came in the form of some clients walking away from commitments or mandates that they have given you. And it's perfectly understandable, but at the same time we know that when you are in the advisory industry or the consultancy, you're always going to be the first expense to be cut. So the challenge was to survive and also to look at what kind of help you can get. New clients, but also the financing of the government. So yes, it's a challenging period, but at the same time it's an exciting period. In this context, you see the best and the worst in human beings. Probably the biggest disappointment I had is the leadership. No, I don't agree with the measures that have been taken, not because we didn't defend ourselves and the others, but because I suspect that the governments have not even tried to measure the consequences of what they were doing. And of course they will blame the coronavirus for the fact that for the last 10 years they have been living on borrowing, and now some of them are close to bankruptcy. So the political leadership and the financial leadership and the corporate leadership have been disappointed. But on the other side, what do we see? We see a new world emerging with people who are really there and asking the fundamental question that was almost impossible to see. Where is the human being in all this? How important is it for us to be together in a room, in a concert hall, with our families, inside and outside? And somewhere, while we feel that we have been sort of imprisoned in our own homes, those of us who didn't have an easy place to be have suffered a lot. And then the jobs go. But the optimism that I have here is that now some basic questions are going to be asked. And in the balance between capital and labor, the old Marxist theory, we have over the last decade really ignored the needs of the human beings and the communities in favor of the markets, the corporates, and the states. The question is now straight on the table, and in a sense, it's a positive move. So going forward, what does that mean? I think the first thing that people will have to realize is we are no longer going to consume the way we did consume in the past. We are going to be much more selective. We found out that maybe the way we were traveling was not ideal, that maybe we didn't need this extra car, that maybe we would like to stay at home, that maybe having a 1.5 hour commute is not the best solution. So our purchasing power has been cut, and it will remain lower because we know that we are facing a severe recession. We know we are having the highest unemployment we had since the Great Crisis. We have 15% of the people who ask for benefits, but there are probably 20% in total who are unemployed. Is the time for us to ask ourselves, have we made the right choices? Have we been equitable? Have we been honest? I think that's an opportunity, and hopefully this will translate, particularly for us in the United States, in an action that will put in place a new leadership that cares about people and communities. And in the case of Europe, which I follow and is dear to my heart since I'm coming from there, I would like to say that you have a historic role. We cannot count on the United States anymore to do the right thing. We cannot count on them to even care about us. We have to learn as Europeans to build our own identity, our own integrity, but also our own strength. And that makes it exciting because now we are in the middle between Asia and America, and we have a historic role to play. So my note is positive because I believe that Europe will be strong and that the human being will come back to the center of our economies where they have been pushed by inequality. Thank you.